7:41 now here at Baton Rouge's Morning News. Karen Henderson, Kevin Meeks, your financial triple crown. What you need to know to win at finances. Local financial professional John Neyland from JCN Financial here in Baton Rouge is our guest next. And, you know, we know the triple crown when it comes to horse racing, but what is it when we talk about finances, John?
Well, you know, paying for college, buying a home, and retirement really is it. And for many people, it's a bigger issue than it has to be. But if you take a look at it, college is continuing to rise. If it continues to rise at the rate it has the last 2 decades, the cost for 4 years of tuition, room and board in private college in 2033 will be about $262,000. Now, ouch. For public university, about $134,000. I'll tell you my biggest observation on this. College is changing. It has changed. So if your child goes to college, it doesn't mean he has to go to a 4-year college. They could go to junior college or trade school. But when you go borrow $1 for college, you need to make darn sure that's going to be $1 that's going to have a good return on it. Yeah. You know, it's something I see because my kids are high school and college age is that, I'll be out of the ballpark here, but, man, if my kids were going to college today, I'd teach them how to make their own frappuccinos.
Yeah.
I really would.
Yeah, and boy, you start adding multiple children to this that are all fairly close together in age, you know? In other words, you're going to maybe at one time have 3 kids in college at once, say?
No, I have a son right now in Iberia. He just got his helicopter. He graduated from LSU. He got his license to fly helicopters. Now he's getting his license to teach helicopter. Okay. I've got a daughter at LSU that made Dean's List the first semester, so
nice.
I'm well aware. But the triple crown of finances for us is going to college is one. Buying a home is another. And, I think that's less affordable today probably than it ever has been. But I'll tell you, Kevin, it's the best debt you can have. You know why?
Why?
Think about it. You have 2 people help pay the house note.
Uh-huh.
If you have $15,000 in mortgage interest, you'll get about $4,000 of your house note paid for by the government. Now think about when you first started radio, what your salary was then. Had you bought a house that day and you still paid the same house note, you're paying it with today's salary. So inflation helps pay that house note.
Yeah.
And then there's equity.
Oh, yes. It's a great debt. Now, you can go to my website, jcnfinancial.com, and I've got a calculator on there to help calculate your house note payment. Now, I'll tell you another real reality that's really remarkable to me, and my business really is distribution planning for retirees. So I don't see the younger folks in my office, but a recent survey showed that, over half the people are very confident they're going to have enough money to retire. But you know what? A whopping 1 in 3 say they have actually less than $1,000 in retirement savings. So those are real optimistic folks. I would suggest to anybody out there that the best investment you can make is to pay yourself first. Absolutely. I was in business when I was 18 years old. And when I was 19, one of my employees loaned me money that I thought was broke, and she taught me the most important lesson. She goes, John, pay yourself first. And at the time, this is years ago, she had like $80,000 in savings, which was remarkable to me at the time.
Right. And, the earlier you start, the better it is for you long run. You don't have to put as much in.
Oh, man.
And it works for you.
That's right.
Compound
but people
interest.
keep saying, I'll just start it tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, but tomorrow never comes. I tell you, these challenges, we really make them more than what they have to be. Planning is the key to it. Now, the biggest hurdle people face in this triple crown of finances is that many people live way beyond their means. And, the average household credit card debt is $7,200. Just don't do it. Just do not have credit card debt. And again, if your kids are going to college, teach them to make their own frappuccinos.
Yeah, it sounds like some good advice. If someone wants more info, how do they get a hold of you, John?
Well, jcnfinancial.com. And by the way, we do classes every month at my office, and one we've been working on for 2 months because I've had a lot of clients coming and asking about that. It's called, well, John, doesn't the market crash every 7 years? So a very interesting presentation called The Rhythm of Sevens. I'd invite you and Kevin to check it out. We do it on the 25th of this month, 2 times, 1:30 and at 6. So if you come, I'd love to see you there.
Okay, John, appreciate the info. It's John Neyland from JCN Financial. Some great advice for planning and getting your financial triple crown. Why not win? It's possible, isn't it?
Oh, it's very doable. You need to plan.
All right. Thank you, John. Good having you on.
Bye-bye.